Hey guys, what's up? I am here to give you guys a recap on a new episode of Vinland Saga, which is on episode 18. Now, this episode right here, I'm gonna say it right now, I really found it a little simple in a certain way, but actually there's more to it than just what the action scenes have been shown in here. And I had to rewatch certain scenes that caught my attention, and those of you guys who are up to date with Vinland Saga, or even are watching the anime, you would know what I'm talking about. So if anything else, let's just get this started. You know, throughout most of the episode, like some scenes here and there, it just shows Thorfinn fighting Thorkel, you know? And of course, eventually Thorfinn would actually get a couple hits or slashes on Thorkel himself. But as the episode continues on, Canute did have a dream about seeing Ragnar and ends up having a talk with him, but eventually leaves him, you know? What caught my eye and attention in the scene I had to rewatch a couple times was actually Canute with the priest. The priest says that Ragnar felt towards you was not love at all. And when Canute asked him, then what do you think love is exactly? And he ends up pointing at something about someone having to die in battle, and death is love, because he's not complaining. He doesn't even though he was abandoned, he gives his body and life to a beast that's able to feed off his flesh or something. It was pretty complicated for me to understand, but I had to rewatch that scene many times to get what the priest is trying to say to the prince, you know? And we see to it that the priest ends up telling Canute what Ragnar felt towards you was discrimination. I mean, it's no difference when someone's fawning over a king, or when a slave is being beaten by a whip, you know. As time continues on in this episode, we see to it that that the priest explains of how Ragnar sees you as more important than his own life or anything else in this world, and that's the reason why he felt towards you was discrimination. It was never love at all. And we see to it that when Canute finally realizes something like snow is love, you know, etc., and much more to come, we see to it that Canute also gives a possible history lesson, or even historical lesson, that the reason why we are turned to such creatures is because we committed a sin to God long ago by disobeying him or something, and that's the reason why we were expelled from paradise. And we see to it that after having a talk with the priest, this changes Canute completely. I mean, he would not run away from Bjorn, who was in the berserker mushroom state, and we see to it that Canute does ask a couple questions, and this actually backs off Bjorn in his berserker state, which I don't know if this is really just some kind of side effect of the mushroom or something else altogether, but Canute ends up hugging Bjorn and brings him back to his senses. Later on, someone else would actually hurt Bjorn in a certain way, and we see to it that Canute tells the priest and the other guy who was supposed to kidnap him to treat Bjorn's wounds, and he's planning to see Thorkel anyway. Which I go oh man, this guy changed very differently after having that talk with the priest, you know, a difference between love and discrimination, and Canute realizing that everybody is just the same, no one actually loves each other, all these battles are very meaningless, and etc. One scene also catches my attention is when Thorkel asks Thorfinn what does it mean to be a true warrior, you know? And that is something that seems to be a theme, and that's also be the second theme of this episode for Vinland Saga. And we all know that if we remember Thor's many episodes ago, he mentioned at the very beginning of the series that a true warrior does not need a sword. And of course, I was hoping Thorfinn might say that to Thorkel, but I guess not. Either because he was just very ticked off because Thorkel asked him what does it mean to be a true warrior, because those words might be reminded of his father saying that a true warrior does not need a sword. I don't know which one, but yeah. But the biggest scene in this episode of Vinland Saga for me was the talk between the priest and the prince, because This might have changed the prince drastically or entirely as a person after having that conversation about what love and discrimination is, and what Ragnar felt towards Canute was discrimination and not love at all. I don't know if it's either something from the priest's words to manipulate him or something else. I don't know what the situation is, but Canute changed drastically. He stopped being some whiny brat or something of a pampered spoiled child and turned into like possibly a down road path to become possibly a real king, because he now has a purpose. He wants to make a place a paradise, or have any action to any human being to have any meaning in the fight at all. So looks like to me Canute is gonna be one crazy bad boy or something, or possibly a good king. We don't know. But one thing for sure, after that conversation with the priest and Canute, you know, with that scene, I had to rewatch it a couple times to understand where the priest was coming from, especially with Canute together. Yep, we're gonna get one heck of a road time depending where this goes, you know. Anyways, I did read the discussions in some places here and there about this episode, and it was pretty phenomenal. Many people are saying, especially when one's talking about discrimination and love, and then the other one, like I mentioned about like Thor's, you know, like a true warrior does not need a sword, you know, and etc. It was pretty crazy. I don't know what's really bound to happen next, but looks like it's going to be very tense. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Afazito. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!